Welcome back, everyone, for Game 2 of our LATAM Grand Finals. The first time a LATAM team will be representing Argentina, Mexico, potentially, at an international event. And Grace, we have 6 Karma 1-0 up already in this series with a very, very good performance on Skyscraper.
Incredible performance on Skyscraper. I have, again, behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, I have not stopped talking about it. It was phenomenal. The fact that they had so many,
honestly,
they had so many amazing pocket strats, utility focused, and it worked. And it's the things that are gonna. Oh, I'm so excited for how this game is gonna go. Goodness me, look at these bans already. The Pulse and the Monty being taken away. Again, a lot of people will bring that kind of utility when it comes to bank, not just for those sneaky little picks. If you take those gunfights, but the fact that you have so much information that you can gain using the Monty, using the Pulse, right? You can use that Pulse to get information on the external as well. The Monty, you can essentially just push towards your opponent. You're not going to die. You're just feeding that information constantly. The Ying and the Kaid, very, very standard, but again, needed, especially when it comes to some of these pivotal choke points. Think about the server execute that can happen. Ying being taken away makes it so much nicer and calmer for those defensive halves.
But the Azami being available, that means positions like stock trading, conference room, or anything to do with any windows on this map suddenly becomes a lot more difficult because Azami's left on the board. This is an interesting one. This is probably more of the most out there defensive ban, even though Akaid is very standard, but just the Pulse as well, it leaves so many power picks available to both these teams. And then the Monty going, and the Ying. It feels like Knights have gone, you know what? Okay, that Ying was causing us quite a few problems. Let's just remove it. Let's not deal with it whatsoever.
Intel being brought on the side of Knights, however, by taking that 0, of course. Very useful piece of kit. Also gives you secondary hard breaches too, Novi, which is very useful, especially when we consider the amount of hatches the Knights will have to open as they make their approach through the map. Not too much of a roam presence here from the side of 6 Karma, but at least we have the fact that they're playing relatively close together. And it's Skimzo and Soko. They'll really be playing for these trades here. This is exactly the stuff we like to see. I believe that hatch was actually open as well. So again, it's this idea that you can drop back down below if you need to, but they're going to hold on to open area till the cows come home.
Yep, they're going to not let this position go, which means Knights, they're going to have to be on it in terms of their droning. Find these positions, root out the 6 Karma operators, and then start pushing in. Tom looking for that initiative, but the self-drone might not be the play. Tuku's on the other side. They potentially can get this pincer maneuver going, but the timing has to be on point. Here's Tuku starting to reposition. He's got a really long line of sight, but has to be careful from above. Kimsey actually going to start being pressured by Dirty, who takes first blood. He draws it first. Knights being very comfortable. We said that the opening picks was something that went away from them on Skyscraper. This time on Bank, they're here to play.
Love the shotgun server hold. Hell as old as time. Again, this open pressure will start to be applied. I don't know if anyone's going to really bother too much about server, but there is about a minute or so to go, so maybe that'll start to come through. So it might be a little bit of an elevator push about to come through too, those hatches getting open. So again, all the hatches coming through. I could be looking to get a little bit aggro just in case someone does peek into lower skylight here, but no one is going for it. I don't think they're even worrying too much about server right now. I think they're going to go direct, despite the fact that there's no Ying, so it could be a little bit freaky.
But that blue stairs hold. Okay, he's backed off. He's gone, okay, I'm going to get closer to sight. Of course, that's where the toxic babes are going to be more prevalent. 30 seconds. Hatches have been opened. Knights are looking for the execute. The timing has been a real sore point, but that frag grenade by Mate is huge. All 3 canisters from the Toxic Babes are no longer in play, but nor is the timer. 10 seconds for them to push onto the site. Tom is removed. Pichito takes that one. Morph looking for another. The Echo Yokais are still in play. 6 Karma shredding them. Giri's trying to stick the plant, but he's the last one remaining. Swings around the corner and 6 Karma take it.
You guys are still in play, but Cheeto's gun also was. Goodness me, that swing around the corner was a little bit snappy. First round on the board, again, really came down to the nail, though. Knights so far, however, Novi are taking a really good approach to it. They're going for the slightly more atypical picks. They're going slightly off with it. They're not going for the typical approaches we see where, you get those open hatches open and then you try and push server stairs for that additional dimensional pressure. They went, okay, let's do the elevator take. Let's do a bit of elevator pressure. And then we can drop those hatches and get that plant down because they're distracted by the pressure from the back at this point.
It's very, 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 very good. Very, very clean. But it's Karma. Suffering that opening death actually was a bit of a surprise for me because of how clean they have been on taking that early engagement. They have to be careful with these extensions outside of the site. We saw it on Skyscraper. Actually, Knights was the victim of that sort of play. Is when you do extend out, Bank is another really large map. If you extend too far, you're going to leave weaknesses actually on the site, and that allows an opening for the attackers potentially to make those snap decisions and start pushing in on the site. I kind of want to see a lion here for Knights. I think that'd be really, really great. They struggled to pin down 6 Karma in the latter portion of those rounds. A lion with the E1D would be fantastic in doing that.
The interesting thing for me at the moment is that, 6 Karma with that pulse ban. So you have really, we're not too feeling the vibe last time. Remember, last time these two went head to head, it was a 7-4 victory in the end towards 6 Karma. But Skyscraper was a 7-4 tonight, and well, we just saw how Skyscraper went. A prominent victory from 6 Karma, willing to adapt. And already we're seeing the adaptation come through with these bans as well. Knights going a little bit more typical, of course, changing the Solus from last time to that Kaid. Really, it's going to come down to the kind of pressure that they want to start applying. Again, going a bit more unusual, a bit more atypical here. Still applying that window pressure. No peek from lobby coming through from 6 either. 6 playing it very passively, actually, Novi.
Yeah, not really willing to overextend. Soko being the only player to take that aggression. Akibo on that double black mirror. The frag grenade goes out, but Soko, he's the one to get the first onto Tom. Mate is further pushed into the ground by Akibo, but it's traded. Dirty trying to keep his team in a fairly level playing field, but with the control he's gotten around Skylight, it's not the greatest position when you're so spread out. You can see Tuku's on the other side. There's a player still hanging outside on Repel, but that is a great position to be in. Knights have 180'd their fortunes and are in a great situation in which to push towards the site.
Certainly are, but 6 have pulled back now. They are just going to hold on to these angles. Wait for Knights to start to approach them too. Again, did a really good job of delaying that push at the top. There's about a minute to go. But this gives a lot of flexibility and breathing room now for Knights to just go for these positions. Try and start to apply this pressure and set up for this collapse, especially given, Pachito, Akibo, they've both used their C4s already, so no verticality can start to come through, and if that plant starts going down, there's very little to deny it. Again, so much mirror investment upstairs, that mirror window was really good, it gives you so much control, but right now they're on site, and they just have to hold these collapsing points. They have to hold onto where they think Knights is going to come from. And these hatches being open too. That's a little bit of a bait by Knights just to, again, apply an additional angle of pressure here. Very, very uncomfortable for 6 Karma right now.
So much information as well. They had all the drones up at the 45-second mark to get that information. We saw them drone, and they had the Iana replicator as well onto the hatch. Pachito just saw the foot. He knows the drop is coming. Here it goes. That should be an instant kill. Diffuser, the 180 round onto Dirty. Make that a triple onto Tuku. Incredible stuff.
Wowsy, wowsy, wowsy. The flick of the wrist, of course, shutting down the initial drop, getting that diffuser on the floor. And then, like it was nothing, going so unpunished. The reaction from Knights then didn't come through. He was able to fully 180, take out the Ash. kind of like 170 at that point and just go for another kill. Nobody was shutting him down at that point. Knights had all the control, all the pressure. I thought maybe, okay, they're baiting with this U-cell now. They're going to maybe get that hatch open and drop elsewhere, or maybe try and take that pressure, you know, from the side stairs and take it through metal. Not at all. They were just like, yep, let's just drop in, send some flashes. Let's hope, guys, there's not a warden. Lo and behold, there was indeed a warden. I can't get over. That was incredible. Oh.
That was incredible by Pachito. Incredible. But Knight, you had so much utility. You had time. You had information plus manpower. That should be a recipe for success. But the recipe they ended up coming up with, the dish that they produced, was a half-hearted drop from hatch and then a sprint onto site. Like, it just, maybe Knights was, the IGLing kind of went away from them. The coordination wasn't quite there. I feel like maybe you open up the hatch, you push in through the yellow stairs into open area, and maybe just take a more direct approach in which you can do those trades. Because there's so little time, if you approach from all three different flanks, as soon as one falls, you're not set up for those trades. And 6 Karma, well, we saw what happened. Pachito was given, it was very, very quick to be fair, but 3 beautiful 1v1s, which he won instantly each and every time. And Knights, I'm disappointed in them at the moment, but they have taken that tactical timeout early enough that it could well make the difference.
Oh, cheeky spawn pre coming through. Akabil, is this going to amount to anything? I don't think it is. There we have it. No one willing to risk it for a chocolate biscuit. Wondering if anyone's going to rotate to lobby just in case this rappel comes through. A tale as old as time. The office rappel can really cut off these angles of pressure. Love the fact that 6 Karma are once again bringing that mirror. We saw how difficult it was last time, you know, especially this one here on meeting, right? We saw last time Knights go to apply that pressure, try and push meeting. They see the 6 mirror, they completely hightail out of there again and had to go for that janitor push. A really, really impactful piece of utility. Which again, if you've played Rainbow 6 before, you know how important the mirror windows can be. It's this idea of it being an ominous presence, even if you're not holding behind it. It's giving you so much pressure. Speaking of pressure, Soko really willing to take these gunfights, looking for the rappel. Dirty has fallen already. They want to follow up with a second one.
Dirty starting to suffer a little bit in terms of taking that aggression. He's been the first man through the door for Knights. Hasn't worked out for him. And 6 Karma, they can retreat back. I'm loving this setup with both the mirror windows, but now the castle barricades as well. It means they're playing this really, really weird to approach situation on site with the soft destruction on half the walls. You've then got windows pulled through with the castle armored barricades, as well as on doorways. It means that this is very unorthodox for Knights to approach. If they don't use that drones to gain the information or the Argus launchers in Tuku's hands, they are going to suffer when they eventually go for that execute. There'll be easy pickings for 6 Karma.
Easy pickings indeed. But look at this. The plant can pretty much go down uncontested right now because they've managed to get a little leeway. They've given themselves a little bit of... Ooh, a C4 comes through for Morph though. What else can I say? It's a nice swift execute, but C4s, of course, are a beautiful piece of kit to deny the plant, and deny the plant they will. A 2 versus 5 now for the side of Knights, and this is very, very uncomfortable. Tuku to apply this pressure, but there we have it. Soko collects a little freebie. There we have it, a flawless from the side of 6 Karma. Akabil collect that final kill. Very difficult for Knights at the moment. 6 Karma starting to take the lead, Novi, and again, this is where the pressure will really start to come through. I'm going to be honest, you know, 9 times out of 10 with Bank, yes, it's got changes to it. It's still the same old Bank. It still plays the same, and rightfully so. We have seen it be heavily attacker-sided, even in the most opportune moments for the defense, globally, I will say. And especially even in this region, you know, you've got a 52.2% attack win versus a 47-ish 0.8% defense win on this map. So again, for 6 Karma to be taking the lead right now, yes, it can be very back and forth depending on utility, but their utility game has been so on point throughout the last 2 maps. I'm not surprised they're taking the lead right now. Knights really need to pull their socks up. They need to get these attacking rounds under their belt.
They need answers. But it feels like Giri was on the line and he sorted in Hibana. I know Hibana's like a requirement for attacking basement, but still, mix it up. This is as like pitch perfect same lineup you brought last time and it did not work. And I'm struggling to see why Knights aren't doing what Six Karma did, where they just throw stuff at the wall and see what works. What you're currently bringing is not good enough. So either it's an execution fault or it's strategy, and they're opting for the same strategy, so they better well execute to a higher level. And currently, across the board, it's been pretty dire straits in terms of fragging. Just looking at the lineup, Pachito currently has the same amount of kills as all of Knights combined.
Which is mental. But again, Pachito has been really popping off, got that nice little 3k as well to secure the round. This is where Knights as well, they have a lot in their arsenal, right? They have a lot in their boxes right now. A lot of this reliance for this execute last time was the fact that they could just get these hatches open. They went for something a little bit more atypical, I'll say. They tried to get that elevator pressure to distract Six Karma almost. But again, maybe this is where they do go a bit more typical. They do take these typical approaches. Right now, Akabil isn't holding server stairs. That's essentially a freebie to clear some utility if they really, you know, get a move on. But right now, Knights are kind of a little bit scattered, trying to focus on getting these frontal hatches open. Again, maybe the elevator and vault pressure. The elevator take is one that they want to fully commit to this time. Not even try and go for that A plant.
Yeah, working their way through, opening up the hatches. But Six Karma, they've backed off fully right from the get-go. They're not going to try and go aggressive and contest first or second floor, or ground and first floor, depending where you're from. Instead, they're going to turtle, but you can see Knights are scared, almost. That's what it feels like. They've taken a lot of time to start taking this top floor, and now they're left with a minute remaining. It's not a great position to be in. Toxic Babe first is thrown out by Akibo. Earlier on, the first time the attack went through on this, he got taken down before he was allowed to even throw any of the canisters. But Morph has been castrated, completely taken out of the round of 45 seconds. Knights again with the opening. It's a great situation to be in, Grace, but they haven't been able to convert a round. Is this the time they managed to do it?
Depends whether they're going to invest in any of these flashes to try and get that clearance. Akabil taking out 2 Kuvos. That's a buck taken away. We have no more self-destructibility, but they still have those flashes. They can use that to try and blind the side of Six Karma and get that plant down. But speaking of utility, Akabil, they still have those toxic babes. So if they try and go in now through server, it's going to be very difficult indeed. Timer is ticking. 15 seconds to go. Gary's just going for it though, trying to get stuck in. They're going to try and go for the cheese here, Novi. Will it happen? No, it won't, because Gary's going to get taken clean out. Tom goes for the flank behind, but this is very uncomfortable indeed. A 1 versus 2 when you don't have diffuser, and there we have it. Soko to finish things off.
Six Karma 4-0 on their map pick of Bank. We all predicted on the desk, we're like, it's going to go 2-0 to Knights, or it's going to be 2-1 and we're going to go to distance. No, Six Karma putting all our predictions in the bin and saying, no, we're going to 2-0, we're going to embarrass the entire desk, and we're going to end this series incredibly quickly. This is not what we were expecting whatsoever. A 4-0 on defense, on Bank is outstanding. And the thing is Six Karma seem to be getting better, Grace. They're not slowing down.
This is it, right? And again, just to emphasize to you all, right? This is an attacker-sided map. Globally, statistically, it is an attacker-sided map still. Yes, the margin is very thin indeed. But again, for an interesting little tidbit, maybe, it's this idea that, you know, in this region, it's attacker-sided 52.2%. In Brazil, probably the biggest nemesis for the LATAM players to go up against when it gets to those majors, a nice little fun kind of test against your brother mode, it's a 56.4% win rate on that attack. So for Six Karma to be sailing away 4-0 right now, it is a very dangerous sign for Knights indeed. They should be getting a majority of these rounds on the table. If they can't secure these next 2 rounds, Novi, it's game over in my opinion.
Yeah. I would argue that maybe if they don't get this round, it's game over, because the thing is they've had so many opportunities go their way in terms of opening kills, 2-2. So they've managed to get that opening pick, still haven't managed to convert. And this has been a major problem for Knights. They're running the clock too low. Skyscraper was evident that that was also a problem for them, and they haven't seemed to rectify their issues. On top of that, they've already used their tactical timeout 2 rounds ago. So there is nothing left for Knights. It is all down to the players in the server. And currently, I said, if they're going to deliver the same strategy, they've got to step up their execution, and they're leaving a lot left remaining to be desired.
Yeah, it's a very difficult position to be in right now. I was going to say they brought some nades at least, but Might is going to get taken out. Soko will fall too, so no more key barriers to be generated. That's a C4 wasted on the side of 6 Karma as Morph gets taken out too. Already looking a lot better for Knights. They have the player advantage right now, and they still have a fair bit of kit to work with. 1 nade in the hands of Tom, and some hard breaches on Gary as they start to work this verticality with that all-important skeleton key.
But Akibo and Pachito is still alive, plus the Solus for the extra information. Nat is so incredibly strong. You're seeing it right now. He knows where these players are. He knows where the blind spots in the attacker's flank drones are. And that allows these Knight cells to have more credence. Going, executing Geary from below. Pachito blows him sky high. And with a minute remaining, we're dead even as we go into the final portions of this round.
That was a bit silly sausages from Pachito, running right into the line of sight Dirty was holding. And this is where things might get a little bit scrappier. 6 Karma need to not make any mistakes here. I think they're getting a little bit too confident. Knights, again, having the player advantage once again. Bill going aggressive. We've seen so much aggression from 6 Karma. There we have it. It certainly pays off. Dirty will fall down. 30 seconds on the clock for 6 Karma to try and hold on to this site for as long as possible. And we saw how this open drop went last time.
And there's the drop, but this time Skimzy actually dropped himself down to the basement for the rotate. Akibo was so low on HP, he had to back off. He couldn't contest the hatch, and Knights are still in this. They're not going to allow the flawless half. 6 Karma has got something to think about. Maybe their ego is their Achilles heel as they pushed a step too far and Knights bit back.
Here's the thing, you gotta be really careful at this point. No ego peeking, to be honest. You gotta really rein it in a little bit. They do, though, it's the thing. They have the round advantage. Often you see that teams, they will try and be a little bit cheeky with it. They will try and land themselves a freebie. Because again, if it works, that really impacts the mental of your opposition, right? They're gonna start getting that tilt really firmly into their bloodstream. Again, the Knights winning that, getting clear with the drop as well. Again, whittling down them. I will say that, you know, Pachito, maybe not the best thing to go stomping across that line of sight. Again, yes, granted, maybe you didn't have the info, but you know that angle is there, you know that pressure is there. This is where 6 Karma can't be making any kind of mistakes like this, because Knights, they desperately need these rounds. They're going to go very safe with it. They're going to go really crisp with it. They're going to be holding every single dimension they possibly can these next 2 rounds. And I think this round is going to be exactly the same. I think they're going to go and try and get as many angles as they possibly can from the get-go. It is indeed office. This window repel needs to come through very, very strong. Let's not just rely on the fact that we can get the wall open and try and cheese it with the Osa. It looks like they're not even bringing the Osa this time anyway. Instead, they're deciding to bring the track stingers on that gridlock, and they're bringing the Dokkaebi for that extra information.
6 Karma going a little bit hog wild with it, and it wasn't just Pachito making the individual mistakes. Skimzy as well with the rotate down with only 25 seconds, leaving Akibo to try and hold on to the site on a sliver of HP. It didn't sit right. It felt like 6 Karma got a bit too ahead of themselves, and Knights in a good position to punish. Now, with that momentum, not necessarily swinging the other way, but at least Knights has some kind of handhold that they can grab onto. Where can they push it now? It's onto that top floor clear, work their way across onto these windows. Azami has been really strong in terms of the keeper barriers, but Soko was the one to get the opening first blood last time in that same position. He beat out Dirty on the engage. Will Knights learn to adapt from their previous mistakes?
We will see. Again, the mirror is in play, and we've seen how impactful the mirror windows have been, especially, you know, bank office, the mirrors. It's a tale as old as time. But we still have the aggressive mirror window that's approaching that push that will come in through stock. That is, of course, if Skirms falls down, which maybe they won't just yet. Here we go. Here's that first call going through. This is where the aggression needs to start being applied. Dirty taking banana pressure, but it's shut down by Soko. Again, this wooden utility, there's a second one. Gary is going to fall down. Skims gets taken out, but Pachito trades it immediately back. Tuco will fall too. And oh my goodness, Novi. Tom is now left in a 1 versus 4. Difficult, Lemon. Difficult. 3 flashes in pocket. But again, at this point, how are you going to clutch this out? A minute to go. Maybe you could attack a few little freebies here, you know, bait those pushes from 6 Karma, let them get a little bit greedy, isolate into these 1 versus 1s. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tom needs to go for something big here. Difficult position to be in.
Honestly, I'd take the pseudo timeout because Knights need it. They are not on the same page there. They had some kind of strategy going in. Soko just seems to have Dirty's number on this specific site. It's been like that both times. Tom's going to go for the desperation play into stock and trading, but taking out the Azami a little bit, comes out worse for wear with the 1D to shut him down. Is it actually a 1D? Let's have a look. Okay, that kind of counts. I'll take that. That is basically a 1D, but there we go. 6 Karma, 5 and 1 Grace on their defensive half. It is it's not even a mountain. It is bloody Everest that Knights need to climb right now.
It really is. And again, given how deep and willing 6 Karma are to play around with that utility, already we're seeing that they're going pretty standard, pretty safe, pretty sensible. But we'll see if that changes once they realize that it's this open area site. Again, they'll want to get that top floor control and start to work that verticality. Flores being in play, I love the fact that they've decided to go with the Flores, seeing it is available to them. Again, you can clear out a lot of these important choke points. You can really use them on those castle barricades. You know, open area holds. A lot of people will bring that castle. You can deal with it really, really quickly. You can deal with it without even having to go in the building. So that's a good piece of kit for 6 Karma to have. Again, if you need to even utilize those drones at the end, those Vittoria drones, just use it on the vertical, start to open some of those floorboards, you certainly can as well. The glass coming out from Soko. The Sen's coming out as well, Novi.
And we were critical of Knights, of their lack of variation, their lack of flexibility on those attacking operators. You have that extra ability to repick your operators in the prep phase. They very rarely went that route. 6 Karma already on Skyscraper showed us how, I mean, Akibo, I think he played almost 5 or 6 different operators on attack alone. But again, they're bringing more different styles and flavors to their attack, which means even if it doesn't work out... Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. They're planting. Grace, they're planting. What is happening?
The ROU. It's such a nice piece of kit. There we go. The line to cut off that line of sight. You get no idea that that plant is going down, and this is where the kills start to come through. Tuco has been down. Have taken out Akabil. A 3 versus 4 pretty much. And this is so uncomfortable right now for the side of Knights. Wolf does take out Might as well. Gary desperately looking for these players. Shotgun to the face. That's at least 1 dealt with. Remember, that timer is ticking. Tom's going to get taken out. And there we have it. Soko with a 3K at the end. Novi, this is exactly what I'm talking about 6 Karma. They do this so well. That utility use is on point. Why would you go for the map clearance? This happened on Skyscraper. Why would you clear the map if you are so comfortable with any toolkit on any of these operators? I'm just going to go into bottom skylight, roll out the ROU, job is done. Get that plant down, watch them go for a clumsy retake. Match point, Novi.
I really feel for Tom right there, because when he swung that outside angle, he just picked the wrong target to focus on with that SMG 11. There was the glimmer of hope that everything just worked. You know, like that double kill that Laz just got, that there was a similar aspect that was available for Tom. It just wasn't the right target priority. It slipped away from him. He wasn't able to secure the kill, got punished for it. And 6 Karma, like you said, they're on map point. They're on series point. They are on championship point to be crowned the first kings of LATAM here in stage 1. 6 Karma 1 round away from punching their ticket to Copenhagen.
Speaking of punches, this certainly has been a brutal beatdown coming through. Poor Knights. I mean, again, you've got to really take your hat off to them because they have played phenomenally throughout this tournament. But 6 Karma, they've just been a completely different level thus far. Again, the utility use really being the main thing here. So powerful from them. And Tuga going for a bit of extended hold here. It's going to be seeing themselves pause a little bit because, of course, that global util on Pachito has come through. Always feels at this point, it's kind of like the quiet before the storm. 6 Karma, they know they're on match point. They know they have all this control, all this power. But this is where, again, they need to make sure they don't go ego peaking now, Novi.
Yeah, the ego peaking won't be ideal, but they can take this map control. Oh, Dooku can just swing. That was a drive-by and a half. Akiril gets completely rolled, but most importantly, the trade comes through for 6 Karma. Morph, we highlighted him for a reason. He is so consistent for this side.
Also, it's a little bit awkward and maybe difficult to lose a set of nades when you are attacking office. Again, 9 times out of 10, you could just try and go for that verticality if you want to. Especially when you know there is going to be a player most likely lurking around this janitor spot. They really tend to flip in and out of that doorway, and instead of peeking it, you can just send a nade from below. That's exactly why we're going to see Skimzo lurking now on this nook. Potentially up nades about to be seen on the horizon, Novi. A little tidal wave about to come before our eyes. Pachito once again trying to catch some of these players out, but also maybe use that utility in conjunction with these up nades to make sure people are nice and static.
And of course, that drone economy for 6 Karma, with the Solus removed, there is really no kind of prevention for Knights. They just have to spot it out, get a bit lucky, in which way that it falls really depends on how 6 Karma leverage that information. First frag grenade is thrown. The yellow pings are going out. Doesn't quite connect. Focuses the other one on a default spot on the top floor, but it's not going to cause any damage. Now we're in the 4-on-4. 30 seconds. And without that kill found, 6 Karma just have to brute force their way onto the site. This is a good opportunity for Knights, Grace.
It really is. Again, I think that the up nade should have really been in conjunction with someone applying a pressure elsewhere, because then you definitely know where people's positions will be and that they're static. There we go. Gary taking down Soko. An excellent move coming through from Knights. Another one to follow it up. And another one, another one, another one. Another one bites for dust, and Knights are holding on for dear life here, Novi.
They're certainly holding on for dear life. There is no mincing this. Yes, that round looked good for Knights, but they need a hell of a lot more if they want this map win, but most importantly, this series. I mean, to be honest, let's not even think about the series right now. Knights are in full survival mode. They don't care if they win the series. They just want to get to the next bloody... They want to get to overtime. That's all they care about right now.
It's difficult. It's difficult, but again, like, I don't feel it's completely out of the realms of possibility for Knights to try and pull this back. It's just, again, your margin of error is so small when it's got to match point. And realistically, again, 6 Karma's approach then was really banking on the fact that some of this breathing room could have been opened up with those up nades. The fact that Knights were able to deal with one set of nades from the get-go, that really, really benefited them. Of course, that's pretty much like a coin flip, though. Which operator you're going to come across for those entry picks? Are you going to win that opening engagement? So the fact that there aren't, again, they're not going to be aware until they watch the VOD back that happened and how lucky, how much breathing space that gave them. And again, the up nades, how they didn't work for them. They could just then eventually go for these fights with the, superior man advantage. Scum did a really rough job there of also applying that window pressure. I'm wondering if that's something that might happen again, especially if 2Q is in lobby. We're trying to go for too many cheeky repels instead of going a bit more direct. They could be caught off guard. Looks like we might see a little bit of sewer entry coming through, and again, maybe some garage pressure too. 2Q really needs to be removed here, Novi.
He needs to be red, but finding a Solus, not the easiest task for anyone, really. That information denial. 6karma flexing their roster of operators that are available. Well, more accurately, Akibo is doing that this time, busting out the Osa. And Skimsy is doing a bit of a mission impossible to sneak into the server room. So as the Thermite, he can get on those walls, but they're soft anyway. They've been opened up. The Goyo Volcan has been popped, and they're starting to aggress towards site. So 6karma ticking off a lot of their attacking list very early on. There is a lot of Knights players, most importantly, not on the same floor as a site, but on that first floor, Grace, that can potentially throw a spanner in the work.
This is it too, like, is this a bait, right? Is this a bait? If you start to hear and maybe get a rustling of a Thermite around server, you would assume it's going to be that standard collapse, right? That wall getting open and the Thermite sticking the plant. If Pachito, with that diffuser, suddenly goes elsewhere, I could put a span in the works. But it looks like they are indeed working alongside Skimzo right now. Again, a lot of hard breach utility. They all seem to be stacking up. I'm not sure if that was, again, a misplay by Morph, because you need to maybe get some of these hatches open and apply that pressure elsewhere. I like this from Akibil right now, just again applying that pressure, making sure you're cutting off these rotations as well, Novi. Opening up the soft wall even more too. So again, this plant can't be denied now if you think about it. If they go for that standard server execute, they open that wall up, no one's going to be able to contest it. That classic place where you'd have the smoke chucking out those toxic babes, or you'd have people chucking those C4s, it's completely being held by Akibil now.
And there's the final toxic babe going out, shutting Skimzy from doing that plant. But it's Soko. He takes the first, immediately traded by Mate. 4-4. 25 seconds left. And you can see the Thermite is itching to get onto the site. The smokes go down. Posted up for the plant. Dirty pushes the man advantage in their favor. Pachito's looking for that plant. The Echo Yokais are still available. Giri is still alive, but they'll just take these gunfights, taking the aggression. There's not a lot of time left. It's all on Akibil, but can he really clutch this out? He's sticking the plant with so few seconds remaining, but it's a 2 versus 1. He's actually going to get it down. Potentially could take the engagement. Swings around the corner looking for the first. Finds it. There's one more to find. It's all on Dirty to keep Knights in this championship, but no! Akibil does it with style, with precision, and he takes 6karma to Copenhagen.
Wowsy, wowsy, wowsy. What a play at the end. A clutch to finish things off. That is a happy group of boys we have on our screen right now. They have made history, Novi. They have made history. Finally, after all this time, after all this gatekeeping that has come through over the years from the Brazilian players, finally, Mexican and Argentinian players are finally going to be at the Rainbow6 major.
And honestly, is there a better team to be representing LATAM? A team that has both players from Mexico and Argentina there to represent and fly the flag for the region. I mean, the fact that they've turned around from a very shaky series against Malvinas into such a dominating performance in such a short amount of time shows that this team has so much potential, Grace. I'm so excited to see how much